works, that will work. Hello, and welcome to the next video of my Worlds 2023 series. As you can tell by the title, this is a narrative storyline related video. I did this for last Worlds, and I'll do it again for this one. Board is empty. We're going to work through this, so if you skip to the end and you see stuff on the board, you're not going to know what it means, and, well, that'll be a funny thing to see in the comment section and to milk for algorithm. I don't root for specific teams. I don't really have a favorite team. If you're new to the channel, I'm an Optic Gaming fan. And when they joined League of Legends in 2017 or 18, I forget which now, I became a League fan. And, Optic left. So I guess I have a slight inkling for 100 Thieves only because it's baby Optic. But otherwise, I really don't have a favorite team, and I could really care less if 100 Thieves wins or loses. Now, at this event, I don't have a favorite team. I don't have a favorite region. I do prefer underdogs. I do like storylines and narratives. I really enjoyed the Deft storyline last year as the tournament went along. I was a DRX doubter. But when push came to shove in the finals, Deft's final ride was definitely the storyline I was rooting for. And in the end, it wasn't his final ride, and in which case I kind of wish, would have known that then maybe I have a different viewpoint on who I would have been rooting for. But we're going to go over, the storylines here. So first and foremost, everyone's thinking about this one. I'm not even going to really discuss it because I think it's discussed to no end. The JDG Golden Road, that I really don't even want to discuss because everybody wants to, and I think that's an easy narrative to follow. Now, let's think about this though. Is it win or choke for JDG? Can anybody beat them? I don't think it's win or choke for JDG. I think a lot of people like to push that narrative of hyperbole about, if they lose, it's a choke job. I don't believe that. Personally, if you look at the LPL, I went over this in the Discord, and, some don't agree with LNG being the one, but if you look at 3 of the last 4 years, the 2 seed from the LPL was the one that did not get out of group stage. Understand, actually, let's put this on here, new format. So, let's lead into that. Can't win or choke. Will the new format make it so that all 8 final teams are the ones from the East, which many would assume are the 8 best? I do believe G2 deserves a right to be in that top 8, but let's just say for the sake of it that this new format does ensure LPL and LCK moves on. Now, if that doesn't happen, like I said, to circle back a minute, the LPL 2 seed's the one who fails, LNG. Now, if JDG lose to BLG or LNG or even Weibo, the way JDG played those 3 teams, I would not consider it an upset. I really wouldn't. BLG have lost to JDG every time this year. Eventually, BLG are going to beat JDG. Now, if they beat them in the finals and BLG win this whole entire fucking championship, I'm still going to say JDG are better than BLG. Only because BLG have lost to JDG so many times that for them to beat JDG once when JDG has won so many times against BLG, and to say BLG is outright better, I think is foolish. That does not mean BLG isn't the champion, just like DRX was the champion last year, but T1 were the best team, in my opinion, in 2022. LNG played JDG very well. Twice at the end of the season, I believe beat JDG in the season as well, regular season, or at the very least in spring. Like, LNG have taken JDG to the brink multiple times. They're very competitive. And hell, Weibo have beaten JDG every time they've played. So all three of those teams, I think, can beat JDG, and I'm not surprised. To be an upset, can anybody beat them? Can anybody upset them? I'd have to be surprised by it, and I'm not going to be by any of the LPL teams. I'm really not. And even in the LCK, would I be shocked if T1 beat them? No. T1 beat them last year. This team is better than that, but I would not be shocked. Gen G, wouldn't be shocked. KT, D+, now we're getting into a territory where I'd be surprised. I don't think that they quite have the skill and the mechanics to be able to beat JDG outright, especially KT, mid-jungle, and D+, outright. I mean, their bot lane isn't strong enough, and Kana certainly isn't strong enough. So, those two teams, that would be a surprise, as well as all the Western teams. But the LPL teams, that's not a choke job to me. It's only a choke job because you, the fans, can't handle just looking at it and seeing, hey, actually all these teams played JDG pretty damn well this year. Yeah, they lost a lot, but they were really close. They threw games. It's not out of the question. So there's some narratives there. Can anybody beat them? I just went over a few. The new format, does that mean all 8 move on? I don't know. Let's think about this. Does Faker finally not go to semis? Does T1 get through quarters? I think it's possible they don't. I think it's possible they do, they don't. But historically, Faker has never dropped out in quarters. And then also, we're going to say to ourselves, as we're talking about mids, are these, we've got there is an angle for all 4 of these mids to win their first Worlds. Who is it going to be? This one, obviously, is that one, so we're excited about that one. But Chovy's no slouch. Gen G are no slouch. I think Gen G are being heavily underrated going into this tournament, and that'll be shown in tomorrow's prediction video. Yagao and Xiaohu. I'm not a big Yagao fan, but BLG, is he going to be able to pull it off? He's left JDG. Does he surpass JDG in this final and steal the championship from them? Because in my opinion, it would be robbery. It wouldn't be an upset, but it would be robbery because JDG's beaten them so many times this year. And Xiaohu left RNG. Does he win? And speaking of mids, again, we're going to go over here. Who is the 2023 Zeka? Last year, DRX, Zeka is who carried them through a lot of that. Now, Beryl also did very well. We can't take anything away from him. Frankly, Pyosik did okay outside of not being able to smite shit. And Kingen won MVP. But Zeka was massive and a massive surprise to a lot of people. I had Zeka as one of my LCK All-Pros going into that. But I also had him mid-ranked going in because he was very raw. Who is going to be the 2023 Zeka? I think here are some names to think about for that role. Trying to think if I think it's these two, and then it's probably so I've got right here Zika, Weiwei, Cuz. I think Shun's already widely considered to be very, very good. probably those three. I think you could throw in some supports, but I don't believe. Well, you know what? I'm going to put a name on here, and I thought about this earlier, and I'm going to include him. So I'm going to include aiming. So you got Zika, Weiwei, Cuz, aiming. 4 players that I think either I'm underrating or many people underrate or are just, statistically solid, but are they going to take over this tournament? Do they take the next step in this big event? I guess Cuz has been here before, so maybe actually let's erase Cuz off of here. These 3 players, this is all their first event. I don't believe aiming's been to Worlds before. Zika, highly touted. And close, 3 or 4 letters to Zeka, so there's that. Weiwei, I'm not a big fan of Weiwei, but then again, can he take over this tournament? Weibo could win this tournament. They very well could. Aiming, statistical darling, in my opinion. And with that, he has the potential to really surprise some people that don't respect him as much in the whole 80K ranking sort of deal. Like I had him 4th or 5th yesterday or a couple days ago. And I believe that a lot of people would have him much lower. Maybe in the 7, 8, 9 range. And I think aiming could take over this tournament as well on KT. So those are some angles there where I think you could have a 2023 Zeka who ends up with the meta that fits them that they just take over. Now, I don't want to pick players that everyone knows are good. And you say, oh, well, Chovy could be the 2023 Zeka. That's not what this is about. This is not about who takes over the tournament. This is about which player going into it do you not like? It's going to be the surprise. Who's going to be the surprise of the tournament? Let's put it that way. So I'm thinking it's Zika, Weiwei, or aiming. Some more thoughts here. We got this. Obviously T1. T1 in and of themselves is a storyline. In Korea, that's a big deal. It's going to be a lot of pressure for all the Korean players and teams. Can one of them get it done? It's possible. It alternates every other year or so. How far is the West going to go? Can G2 get to the top 8? I think, like I said, I think they can. And I believe they can be very competitive. Let's talk about this too. Meta champion diversity. Is there going to be a situation where we're going to have a world's meta that is different than what we've seen all year? Last year that happened. And it became a defining reason why DRX won. Barrel's Heimerdinger Ashe situation he had at support was something that nobody had an answer for, and it only originated because Top Esports believed DRX were scrimming with it, and DRX had not been. Top Esports banned the Heimer against DRX, anticipating Barrel to pick it, and Barrel hadn't even scrimmed with it. He wasn't even thinking about it. And because of that, they started scrimming with it, and then they ran with that the rest of the way. I think that's a very big deal. That was a defining portion of why DRX won. In my honest opinion. That stole a ban all the time. Nobody had an answer for that shit. I really do. I'm interested to see what the meta is like, because last Worlds was the most diverse ever. And going into this event, the solo lanes are diverse. Jungle looked diverse this past split. You saw how many champions I had written on the board for the players, but the bot lane was definitely one that was not, out of the box. I'm probably missing some. Can minor regions do anything at this event in the new format? Can PSG Talon, are PSG Talon the team that gets out? Do the LCS once again show they have more depth than the LEC? by a 4 seed once again, beating a 4 seed again. I don't know. 3 seed beat a 4 seed or whatever. Like, is that going to happen again? With GGBDS in only 2 days from now, I think that not to, if you're new to the channel, I do predictions under the members only tier, so I'm not going to say how I think that's going to go. But we'll wonder about that. Is this new format going to be better? I hate double elim. I hate double elim without a reset. We'll see if that plays a role. If that ends up backfiring, I don't think there's double elim in this tournament. There might be. I didn't even look at the damn thing, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does actually, because if there isn't a reset and it ends up loser bracket finalist wins the damn tournament, I'm gonna be so pissed. But yeah, that's it. Just some narratives floating through my head here. I am interested, if a player like Zhao finally gets a job done at Worlds, Gala leaving RNG. Those are a couple older players. Keen, BDD. Those are fun to think about. KT having an opportunity to win. None of those players on that team have gotten over the hump. I think that would be a very fun result. Genji with Peanut, that would be definitely something. Because I don't think he's won Worlds either. So there's some big name players that I haven't won before that it would be, I would come away with it happy that they won. So, yeah, that's it. Just some narratives that are floating through my head. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.